Hey guys, in this video we're going to check out what are known as power chords and bar chords. A little bit on the trickier side of things, but really good fun. Get you all around the neck. Enjoy. Okay, so we're going to start off with something called a power chord. Now, you may never have heard this term before, but you have heard these a million times. You know how when I was talking about the major chords and the minor chords, I was saying the numbers 1, 3, 5, 1 flat, 3, 5, blah, 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 blah. The third note, that's what makes it emotive, gives it that kind of bright, happy feeling if you play the third, or the sad, glum feeling if you play the flat third. What we're going to do now is just get rid of it in its entirety. So we are just going to play the 1 and the 5. The cool thing with these are, you can put them anywhere. They really work anywhere. So for simplicity, I'm going to start on the 3rd fret of the E. I'm going to put my first finger there, and then my 3rd finger is going to go on the 5th fret of the A. Now, one way to tell if you've made a power chord right, if you play the notes separately, it sounds like Star Wars. Simple as that. If it sounds like Star Wars, you've got it. These ones, play them both at the same time. And it just sounds big, chunky, a power chord. That is the function of the 5th in the chord. The only purpose of this note is to make this note sound bigger. And yeah, checks out, right? Now with this one, we can move it anywhere. We could go, something like that if we want it to be proper moody sounding when we play. Sounds all right, nothing wrong with it. One thing that you might want to do though is add the little finger on the 5th fret of the D string. Now, valid question, why? Simple reasoning. The 3rd fret of the E string and the 5th fret of the D string, they are the same note. In this instance, they are both the note G. As we said that a root to a 5th sounds like Star Wars, a root to an octave sounds like Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Ba, 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 etc., etc. So, I've added in this extra note. Now, we don't need it. It's not essential. So long as we've got these two, cool. But I think you'll notice the difference. With, without. Just, again, sounds even bigger. So these are power chords. Generally speaking, you're only going to really use these on the E string and the A string. And they're completely movable. So, you can put them anywhere, do whatever you want with them. They're really great fun, these ones. And it gets rid of that kind of major minor feel. Sometimes you don't want that. Sometimes you just want chuggy riffs and big chords and, things where the emotive side of it just isn't necessary. So those are power chords. Try and get them down, try and move them around. If you want to check out a song with, a really good sort of power chord kind of vibe, Smells Like Teen Spirit. There you go, power chords through and through. Nothing wrong with that. So with that in mind, let's check out bar chords. Now, bar chords are all of the open chords we've looked at in the major chords and the minor chords, but now we're moving them around the neck. The really, really awesome thing with guitar is, once you have learnt a shape, whether it's a chord or a scale, no matter where you put that shape, it will always be that. So, for example, this is an E major chord. I'm going to move it up to here and then put my first finger across here. It's still a major chord. Now, if we were piano players, we would have to learn different shapes for every chord, different shapes for every scale. With guitar, we just simply don't have to. Once you've learned the shape, you've got it. Now, bar chords are tricky. They're something that will frustrate you. So we're going to break it down, take it nice and easy. I'm going to start by looking at a minor bar chord from the A string. A really nice simple way of doing this is I'm going to, let's play B minor. Why not? I'm going to put my first finger on the 2nd fret of the E string. My middle finger is going to go on the 3rd fret of the B string, and my 3rd finger is going to go on the 4th fret of the G string. And I'm going to play those 3 strings. Yeah, minor, definitely, no arguing that. R1, R flat 3 and R5, all in conjuncture there. Problem with this shape is, it's very, very small. So if I was playing like, I've instantly lost the vibe I was going for. So, come back to this shape, move your 3rd finger up to the D string now, and get your little finger where your 3rd finger was. We're just adding in extra notes to just make this chunkier and chunkier. So now we've got this. Yeah, you can see definitely it's bigger. You want to make that even bigger, and this is the tricky one. Take this first finger, lay it from the A string down to the E string. Now the good news with this shape is it's only the A and the E that need to ring out from this first finger. So that is our full shape B minor chord. Now really take a look at this shape. Can you see that it's basically just an A minor chord, but I've moved it up 2 frets, and then my first finger is acting like the nut of the guitar. Not the best chord progression in the world, but it serves a purpose right there. Okay, so if you want to take this to the next one, we're going to look at major chords on the E string. Now the cool thing with this is, if you look at an A minor chord and then an E major chord, they are exactly the same. We've just changed the strings. So you can do the exact same principle that we just did with this B minor and just move it all up a string. So this would be what we call an F sharp major or G flat major, depending on your disposition. I'm going to play these 3 specific strings. I don't want to play the thinnest string, and I don't want to play the 2 strings above them. So I'm playing the D, the G, and the B. And you can kind of hear, yeah, that's a major chord. I'll do the same thing. I'm going to take my 3rd finger, move it up a string, put my little finger in. And for the next one, I'm going to lay my 1st finger across the 2nd fret. And you can hear every single one is clearly the same kind of chord, just getting bigger and bigger each time. And have another look at this shape, right? There's my E major chord. And then put it there. Simple. Good example, Hotel California. B minor, F sharp major. Everything after that is just open chords. Have a Google, you'll find them everywhere. Okay, so that is a minor chord on the A string and a major chord on the E string. The next 2 are trickier, so we're going to flip them on their head. We're going to start with a major chord on the A string. Whereas before we had the B minor, right? We had these notes here, 1, flat 3, 5. You might be able to figure this out if you've been listening to the theory side of it. We're going to take our flat 3 and we're going to turn it into a 3. So our middle finger is now on the 4th fret of the G string, our 3rd finger is on the 4th fret of the B string, and our 1st finger is on the 2nd fret of the E string. Yeah, bright, happy, nothing wrong with that. Same idea now. I'm going to move these up a string, both of them, and add my little finger to where my 3rd finger was. Hopefully now you're starting to see this A major chord appearing in here. The next bit, you've got 2 options. Same again, we're going to lay our 1st finger. Now this is the technically correct shape. But it's also incredibly uncomfortable. So what you tend to find a lot of people do is instead of using 3 fingers here, they'll take their 3rd finger and just lay it like this. Deliberately trying to kill that E string. Because if you get it in there with the 4th fret of the E, it's nice, but it's not what we're aiming for. So you tend to find most people will deliberately mute that string, either by avoiding playing it or just not pressing quite as hard with their 3rd finger when it comes to this string as they are the others. This shape is tricky, guys. It's not an easy one. I don't know if you can see or not, but can you see my fingers? They're not exactly straight. They're at a little bit of an angle. I tend to find when I'm barring, getting this part of my finger the most contact with the strings is more beneficial than this part of the finger. Simple reason being, if I put pressure here, my finger bends. And that's not ideal when you're trying to press down on things to have your finger start bending halfway through it. So there you go. That would be your A-shape major bar chord. Next one, E-shape major bar chord. E minor shape bar chord. Now this is the same idea that we had before with the F sharp minor, where we had it E major chord, moved up 2 frets, barred it off. Except now I'm going to get rid of my middle finger. The problem with this is, look how many strings are now all reliant on my 1st finger being spot on. So we can break this down a little bit. We can start by, maybe just having our 1st finger laying across the 2nd fret of the G string, the B string, and the E string, and adding my 3rd finger in to the 4th fret of the D string. You don't even have to add the D string if you don't want, just play those 3. Then get that one involved. Then if you want, you can move this up a string, get the little finger in there. By this point, we've got, 5/6 of the chord. So you can, if you want, just stop there. If you want, maybe use your thumb instead of laying the first finger all across it. Or just put the first finger across. They all work and they're all good. Now, bar chords are tricky. The good thing with learning these is you now can play every chord. Simple. You might find a chord progression which goes C major, A minor, then F major. Well, C major, A minor, we've already looked at them. Nice, easy open chords. F major, on the other hand, there is no open chord for this. And you kind of need to play it. I'll throw in a G at the end. Because it just sounds much better. So once you get this down, have a go at just moving them around. Move them wherever you want. You don't need to know the names of the fretboard just yet to be able to get this one down. But once you start getting more familiar with the fretboard and the shapes, you'll find that suddenly you can play pretty much any song out there. It's really good fun. Take your time with these ones. If you need to skip ahead, check out some new chords and come back to these, I would recommend that because, yeah, getting that first finger to try and cover all of it, it's a bit of a tricky one, but enjoy.